Hi everyone, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Teddy, and in this video we have selected a variety of niche fragrances for spring that you guys should check out. So what we're gonna do, spray all these fragrances, give some reactions on our end. Some of these we're more familiar with, we've had in our collection for a while. Some of them are fairly newer for us, but I wanted to give you guys in 2022 some fragrances to maybe check out, maybe get some samples of, that you should at least maybe be aware of as the seasons are changing here. So should we jump in?
Yep.
Okay, now this is one that we've known about for a while. I know that you like,
Adore.
I even liked it. Now spraying it again and getting more familiar with it and wearing it, it's more feminine than I remember trying in the store like a while ago.
Yes, it definitely leans feminine. I think especially when it dries down. I get blueberry pastry from this one.
And this is Wilhelm Poets of Berlin.
Because it's kind of sweet and buttery, but at the same time it has that blueberry and lemon in there.
Yes, so this I get more blueberry than I recall. Because this is a newer bottle, I wonder if there was some changes with this, because maybe my nose just didn't pick it up the first time when I was in the store.
And I did see some people say that they don't get the blueberry as much, so maybe they did change it.
It's much more strong in this.
Yeah.
It's still nice. I think it leans to the feminine side. You are also getting some woodsy base to this, sandalwood and vetiver also being notes in this fragrance. The packaging, it's cool to look at.
It's beautiful, but when you put it in a drawer, it just takes up so much space because of the way that it's shaped. If you have it on a shelf, maybe.
Very cool bottle, but that is one challenge of this. For giving the vibes of spring, this one I think is perfect. It's really a combination of the fruits that you're getting with that blueberry, which is very strong to my nose.
A hint of sweetness in there.
Yeah, citrus, and then that woody base that gives it more of that type of green feel to it that I think all those combining factors allow it to be more to a spring side.
Yep, I like that house in general too. They do a really good job.
Poets of Berlin, Wilhelm. All right, next up here, this was actually the first fragrance that I did an individual bottle review on the channel. So if that gives you any idea of what I think about this fragrance, this is Mancera Cedrat Boise. So this has the screw off. They have the magnetic caps too, but this to me is one of the better entry doors into the world of like independent niche perfumery. It's not necessarily the most sophisticated thing you're ever going to smell. You have some very common attributes here that you might find across the board with other niche houses. You get lemon, a black currant, fruity notes, but really to me this is a cedar fragrance, I think at the core. The dry down of this is fantastic. Once you open it up, you do get more of the sweet type of lemon when it combines with that black currant and some of those other fruity notes. But then once the fragility of those notes subside, you start to get more of the base of this fragrance. You start to get this masculine woods that just come to the forefront. So I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite fragrances. This also, not to spoil anything, I don't know if it'll be out by the time, but our video reaction, this performed very well. So it's safe too from the niche side of things.
This is actually one of my favorite ones that you wear. I think it would be a great place to start if you're just getting into the niche world. Great option, love this one.
All right, next up here, oops, here we go. Montale Red Vetiver. You're not as big on this one, but.
No, but you like it.
I do.
You know, you should wear what you like.
For this one, the one thing that it's always, I think, compared to this fragrance is Terre de Metz. Because of the vetiver backbone that this one has, but shifting from orange to grapefruit, and I would say almost less citrus in a way. This is almost more dense on the vetiver.
I don't really get too much citrus from that right off the bat.
You do get grapefruit, but there's something about grapefruit versus orange is just way more noticeable.
It's distinguishable, yes, yeah. More than grapefruit, I think.
Yes, but if you're liking that type of variety, you want something that is also in the general ballpark of price. This isn't crazy more than Terre de Metz, so if you're trying to get into that world, you want something from a spring variety that I also think would just do really well this time of year. I think this is one to consider. Not as talked about as much. This is not the most popular Montale. I think they're mostly known for their more winter intense fragrances.
Intense Cafe is one that's really popular, yeah.
But this is different.
I will say I like the dry down on that one a lot more than the opening. You've worn that before and I don't mind it as much on the dry down.
But to anybody that has maybe some vetiver-centric designers that wants to maybe take that next step up, this might be one that you might enjoy. Okay, next up here, we have Ormonde Montabaco Verano.
Love the bottle.
I like these bottles too.
Very nice.
Well, it's an expensive fragrance, just going to get that out there, so you certainly are paying a bit for the presentation. But you're also getting, I think, a nice fragrance here
Love
too.
it.
It's a strange combination of notes. Now, what this is initially for me, I mean, you do get grapefruit.
Citrusy off the top, I think.
Citrus, then a lot of woods, and then there's also a tobacco note in this, which is strange for this time of year. Tobacco, I typically will associate with fall, winter, maybe have vanilla backbone, maybe
Cozy.
sometimes amber. Like those are the things that typically combine with tobacco. So to get like a citrus combination with some leather, like this is just different. You also get some ambergris. So it does have this oceanic musky nature to it as well. So it just somehow works.
It's not your typical springy citrus vibe. There's something different in there, obviously, like you just mentioned, that makes it stand out a little bit more. I would say it's more unique. I really like that one.
Yeah, it's almost unconventional when it comes to the arrangement of notes in here, but maybe wanted to give a shot. Definitely more on the expensive side, but this was a house that I wanted to give a shot. So London-based, cool one to check out if you are into maybe something different this year for the spring and summer months. All right, next up here we have Mizensir, Elixir de Musc. So this is the fragrance house Alberto Marias, of course, very famous perfumer, known for making Acqua di Gio.
It's very powdery.
Oh yes, very powdery. It has this, of course, musk.
Yeah, right off the bat, I get baby powder, but I do really like this one. It smells fresh, it smells clean.
The floral notes in this certainly are going to give it that airy type of lift, and that's probably why you think maybe powdery.
Iris.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of that, and then musk, amber, which is a different type of dry down approach when you're talking about this time of year.
Unisex for sure.
Whenever you deal with musk, it sometimes does give off more of a masculine undertone, but in this case, because of the combination with floral, I think this is certainly appropriate for a variety of people.
Yep, good packaging as well.
Mizensir. All right, next up here, this is probably one of the more popular ones on the list. This is Nishane Hacivat. So we have looked at another fragrance from this house on this channel before, and it was my first one I actually tried from them. It was Fan Your Flames, which I really like because it has that coconut and tobacco combination, which I thought was a really cool chord, and I like that.
Yeah.
This is probably the most discussed fragrance from this house, Nishane.
I like it.
They're from Istanbul, which is not a place that's necessarily known for fragrances the same way as maybe some other places around the world, but very nice.
Pineapple?
Pineapple.
It's giving Creed a tad.
Yes, you certainly can get that. That's what a lot of people will say.
Okay.
What I will say about this one, you get the pineapple. So it kind of depends what type of batch we're talking of Ventus.
Yeah.
This, because of the oak moss, it does have a different bitter opening with the pineapple. It's not as much of a woody blast in some ways if you're dealing with certain Aventus batches.
Yeah, I really like that though.
But I like it too. Pricing is not too bad for this house as well, for at least getting into this world. I've liked everything I've tried from them too.
Yeah, Fan Your Flames I'm a fan of as well.
Performance isn't too bad on my skin. But yeah, this is one that gets a little bit more hyped up. I think actually, good one to check out. If you haven't tried it, I wouldn't say this is the most unique, probably actually one of the least unique ones I've tried from them, but still well done for what it needs to be. So this is one that we are both very familiar with.
Classic.
This is Acqua di Parma, Colonia Club.
Country club vibes, classic man, nice stand-up gentleman.
This to me is more modern compared to some of the other offerings from the Colonia line, and does have that kind of sporty feel to it. You do have some fougere elements with like the lavender, mint. It's more bright than the typical genre of fragrance in that world. Minty freshness, you do get lavender. As you mentioned, country clubs certainly can get that sophisticated gentleman, but also leaning more youthful compared to some other offerings from Acqua di Parma.
I love Acqua di Parma. Everything we have from them I really like.
I do too. Performance is not always the greatest. This also not the greatest, better than some. Like the Blue Mediterranean line struggles immensely with this.
Yes.
But this is a really nice, I could say, office scent, just flowers and just the greenery becoming a thing again as the seasons are changing. It's just fresh, bright, and also a little smack in the face because it does have that more of that fougere, minty freshness, lavender combination, which I think is very nice.
Yep, smells like a nice match of tennis.
We'll leave it at that. Cornell, I'll let you do the honors here because this is one of your personal favorites.
Imaginary Authors St. Julep. This one is a gem that I like to wear a lot in the spring and the summer. I think it stays on the skin a lot longer when the weather's a little bit warmer. The longevity on this one is not that great, but you get that mint, sugar cube, magnolia, a little hint of whiskey in there. It really gives mint mojito.
It's pleasant.
Yep, it's very nice.
Yeah, performance, not good.
No.
I love this one. It's sweet. This is my favorite from them.
It's very unique too.
It is. I mean, I do think there are some similarities to other popular fragrances, but it has its own thing. It's sweet, but it doesn't overstep into this land where, oh, this is going to gas some people out around you. You have to be very careful about that when you're talking about this time of year too.
A nice spring fragrance.
Yeah.
You think of like when the weather starts to warm up and you start going outside a little bit more, this is the one I grab for.
And this is probably one for a warmer climate as well. I think you almost want to wait maybe farther along in the spring once you start getting closer to summer. And then even in summer, this is certainly appropriate for summer as well.
Oh, I wear this all summer long, so for sure.
It's a good one.
Great one.
Okay, for this next one, finally decided to buy a full bottle of this. This is Byredo Gypsy Water. This is probably one of the more talked about fragrances from this house.
Love it. I've been wearing this one a lot too lately.
It's very nice, but it's like unorthodox.
It's unique.
When you typically get like a combination of, you have lemon and vanilla, it has like this creaminess, but also it has this woodsy shrub type of feel to it with pine. You almost wouldn't think it would work this time of year, but it actually does. It's still somewhat light. I could just see some very free-spirited person just smelling like this.
Yep.
It's a good way to describe it.
I've actually been sharing my scents of the day on Instagram, and when I posted about this one, I got a lot of really positive messages about it. Mass appealing, a lot of people really love it.
This is fresh. You do get a sense of these earthy type of notes to it with a combination of maybe some of the typical types of notes that you would find, like a lemon, citrus, and combining that with those more green notes. It creates a different type of approach for this one.
Yeah, it's Mother Nature.
Okay, so another one, newer bottle. This is Amouge Reflection Man. So the first fragrance I think we started to delve into here was Interlude Man.
The incense is too much for me. It blew me back in my chair.
We gave it to your dad.
My dad loves that fragrance. Yes, he's like obsessed with it, but not for me.
It's interesting because Amouge is all about these just powerful, dense, oriental just approaches to perfumery. And you get some of the attributes of having a dense fragrance here because it is a layered experience with this one, but also how they're able to, with like this jasmine, neroli, and rosemary, and then getting into this woody base, it does feel as if it's not so overpowering, but still does have some staying power in the process, if that makes any sense. I'd say floral, woody, musk, some of the things that come to mind when I have this one.
It's gorgeous. I adore that.
You gotta let this one stay on the skin for a while. Okay. So when I had this, like right now, I like it off the initial spray, but where I really start to like it is when those woods start to just open up. I'd say the sweetness of some of these florals and the airiness of it starts to just dissipate. Yeah. That's when it starts really going for me.
Yeah, I like it straight out of the bottle, to be honest with you. Is this unisex? Because I would definitely wear that.
So this is, I would say, more leaning to masculine, but I think you could certainly both wear it. Yeah. I think this could certainly be unisex.
I
As
love
you get
that.
into this tier of like perfumery, I don't think it really matters who the intended wearer is. Like what is the line? Yeah. I think it's just perfumery. I think a lot of the designer type of fragrances have created, hey, is that a women's fragrance, men's fragrance? Like what's going on here? But to me, Amouge, I think it walks the line quite well. There's also, they have probably some of the better selection of women's fragrances that are more geared to that side, but I just really enjoy this one. You have to let it dry down. It is more feminine on the opening.
I love that. Great choice.
Okay, next one. This is from Clive Christian. So this is probably the most expensive or close to it on the table. So certainly try it before you buy it type of deal.
Definitely buy a sample.
Yes. We showed X in our previous video, which probably right there with being my favorite. It's more masculine. This, I would say, walks the line a bit better in terms of women, men, both could wear this. I would say if you're starting to get into this house for the first time, this is the one that has more of the mass appealing elements to it. Yeah. It's a tart opening with some bergamot. You get pepper with it. So it does have this fizzy type of opening, spicy, and then it turns floral also into this more like amber resinous type of dry down with some woods as well as that backbone.
Mm-hmm. I wore this one the other day and the dry down is beautiful. I really like it.
It's actually quite sweet off the top. Or
it is.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's fizzy, has a lot of things happening with it. You're just bouncing around and like, what is going on here? Mm-hmm. This has more of a designer quality to it compared to some of their other offerings that are more sophisticated. But as this one dries down, you start to realize what's happening here. It has a couple turns throughout the process. Rock Rose, you wore it the other day and I liked it on you.
Smelled like a classy lady.
All right, for our last one here, we have Etat Libre d'Orange with Remarkable People.
Interesting bottle.
This is a bottle when you first see it in the store, you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like it's like a bullseye. I want to know what's going on here. We had a sample of this
long time ago.
And like this one kind of just stuck with us quite a bit.
We liked it just based off the sample.
This is also different compared to a lot of the fragrances. Actually, I don't think there's anything else like this one on the list here. A couple things. Grapefruit off the top. Also, champagne is a note in here.
Yeah, I get that.
With black pepper and champagne, that creates a fizzy approach, almost bubbly. Not, you know, of course you know that champagne is a note in it, but you feel it. You actually do sense that when you smell it.
Yeah, it's like a little zingy in the nose.
It is zingy. It also almost like a ginger.
I get that too.
Because ginger is a strange combination where you get that spicy note to it.
It's almost like one of those little wellness shots, like that are like turmeric and ginger. Like it's very like wake you up zingy. I like it. It's also really unique. I've never really smelled anything like that.
It is, and the note breakdown reflects that. But bright, welcoming. It might not be for everybody though.
No, I would buy a sample first. For spring, you know, you want that energetic, you're excited about the season changing, you're over winter. You get that nice little burst of energy from this one.
A little pep in your step here. All right, guys, thank you again so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you liked our list here, please give the video a thumbs up. That does help out the channel. Also, what are some other spring, niche, independent perfumery fragrances that you would recommend that were not on this list here today? There's plenty more that we could have included, but honestly, this was like 30 minutes of recording just to get through these. So
I know.
It's a lot of talking and a lot to go through, but thank you again so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.